Okay, you guys, there's definitely something very weird going on behind Trump's tweets, and it's more than just dementia or distraction. Now, I'm not saying he's not crazy. I definitely think he is. But I am noticing a pattern. Humor me. February 28th, the war starts. Oil spikes, gold spikes, safe haven assets jump. April 2nd, he threatens to bomb Iran back to the Stone Age. Oil surges, markets get volatile. April the 5th, another escalation. Crude jumps again. Stocks drop. April 7th, he walks it all back. Oil drops, stocks rally. April 8th, suddenly he's all rainbows and sunshine. Stocks surge, oil falls, same pattern every single time. Then on April the 9th, he posts, quote, "This is a great time to buy," hours before he pauses the tariffs, and the markets rally. But that's not the worst of it, because some of the biggest trades happened before the announcements were even made. $580 million in oil futures were traded minutes before his March 23rd de-escalation post. And a $950 million bet was placed just before his ceasefire announcement. These weren't small trades, you guys. They were massive, after-hours, single-block positions. And again, they were made before the announcements. Whoever made these trades was probably a massive hedge fund or a commodities trading firm. But of course, their identities are protected from the public, supposedly to protect from a run on banks or even more market volatility. At least that's the tagline. But is that really why? Because only the Commodities Futures Trading Commission can see who made these lucky trades. And unless there's a leak to the press or a congressional subpoena, only a regulatory investigation will reveal who did what and when. But even if they do get caught, the punishment is usually just a fine. It's rarely prison time or any meaningful deterrent that would prevent them from doing it again. So what's going on? Yeah, we can say it's about him and his friends getting richer, but I saw something that makes me think it's about a lot more than that. And when we connect the dots between Trump's tweets, the market, and what's going on behind the scenes, it's a whole different ballgame. Let's get into it. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind that war creates chaos, and during chaos, we give the government superpowers. Policies that would take years to implement happen overnight. During a crisis, policies shift, systems are drastically transformed, and nobody says a thing. We've already seen this during 9/11 in 2020.
This new law that I signed today will allow surveillance of all communications used by terrorists, including emails, the internet, and cell phones. This bill met with an overwhelming agreement in Congress because it upholds and respects the civil liberties guaranteed by our Constitution.
We have another choice. We can build a new social contract, particularly integrating the next generation, and we can make sure that the technologies of the fourth industrial revolution are best utilized to provide us with better lives. In short, we need a great reset.
So what makes us think that they're not exploiting the Iran war right now? I watched this vid and something clicked.
Now, some people believe that if this strait stays closed for another 2 to 3 weeks, which is virtually guaranteed at this point, based on what the president is saying, the global economy will then reach a breaking point where even if the war stops, it might be too late, and it would start a crisis all around the world. The US has almost $40 trillion in debt. It's growing faster than the economy, and now with yields going up, the cost of that debt is growing faster and faster. So how do you solve that problem? The way to solve it is that you find someone else to hold the debt for you. What if the best way to distribute this debt is already in everybody's pocket? The US debt gets privatized and uploaded to the world. Right? Every major corporation will become a bank, every major app will become a wallet, and every person on earth with a smartphone will become an unknowing creditor to the United States government. With a digital currency system, that funds the government, controls the UBI payments that feeds the people that lost their jobs to AI in the first place, and it gives the central planners a button that they can turn on or off for every single person's financial life.
Now, obviously, this guy's done his homework, but I think he's forgetting something. We're already waist deep in a digital economy. I'm not saying that creating a full-blown US digital economy was the sole reason behind the Iran war. In my opinion, the main drivers are Israel's Greater Israel Project and Trump's erratic attempts to avoid any further investigation into the Epstein files. But it just so happens that Netanyahu and Trump's pet projects also align perfectly with this other agenda. The first version of digital money that I want you to pay attention to is crypto, like Bitcoin.
And with the Iran war in full swing, and as the Financial Times reported about a week ago, it's only Bitcoin stablecoins or the yuan that they are accepting as payment in the Strait of Hormuz. It's not a secret why the Bitcoin price is pushing upwards.
Crypto holds transactions in a public ledger called a blockchain. Transactions are visible but pseudonymous, meaning wallet activity and currency flows are visible, no one can see who's doing it. The downside is that its value is volatile, with wide up and down swings. Then we have the digital currency apps.
Cash App started as just an idea back in 2013. A lot of people think it was a Hack Week project, but it was actually a small, cordoned off project really focused on building a low-cost payment network. And since then, we've been busy building, transforming Cash App from a simple peer-to-peer app into a full-fledged finance ecosystem, introducing Cash App Card, investing, direct deposit, Bitcoin, Afterpay, and more. Our mission has always been the same: to redefine the world's relationship with money by making it more relatable, instantly available, and universally accessible. Since Cash App's inception, we've moved over $5 trillion on behalf of our customers, with millions buying stocks and Bitcoin for the first time, getting a loan when they need it, or turning on roundups to save just a little bit every day.
Cash App lets you buy and sell Bitcoin. PayPal lets you buy, hold, and transfer it. And Venmo, owned by PayPal, lets you buy crypto directly. Robinhood lets you trade crypto and stocks in one app, and Fidelity Investments offers crypto accounts. Now keep in mind that Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo are all fully centralized, and that transfers can be reversed and contested. These companies know who you are, what you send, and where, and they can share that data with the government via subpoenas and regulations. Like a bank card, it's not anonymous at all. It's fully visible, just not to you. At this point, we've been conditioned to accept crypto and digital apps as a normal part of making and moving money. But here's the digital currency that actually matters: stablecoins.
World Liberty Financial, the crypto venture co-founded by Presidents Trump and his sons, released a new proposal this week that would prevent early investors from trading tokens for 2 years, followed by an additional 2-year vesting period. The measure will be subjected to a vote in 1 week. It means early investors holding 17 billion tokens won't have the ability to trade all of their tokens until 2030, a year after the president is scheduled to leave office.
Stablecoins like USDC and USDT are valued 1-to-1 with the US dollar. So basically, it's just a digital version of a dollar that can be accessed and used globally without a bank. But it's also important to note that not all stablecoins perform equally, and they're only as stable as the reserves that are backing them. They're issued by private companies like Circle. You deposit your money into the company and get a matching deposit into a digital wallet. If you want to use them in real life, stablecoins can be also transferred to a physical crypto debit card that you get from companies like Coinbase and Crypto.com. If this is all new to you, subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of pattern that we break down here. Stablecoins are great because they can be used immediately worldwide, 24/7. No 3-day transfers, no expensive international wires, and unlike crypto, their value doesn't swing up or down. Traders use them to trade quickly. Hedge funds, crypto firms, and market makers use them to park capital and execute large trades. People in unstable economies use them for access to US dollars without a bank. And freelancers use stablecoins for quick and easy international payments and online transactions. So in a nutshell, stablecoins exist because the current system is slow, expensive, and limited. If this sounds too good to be true, that's because it is. Unlike crypto, stablecoin accounts can be blacklisted and funds can be tracked, restricted, and frozen. So basically, your digital dollar can be turned off. And this is where things get dicey. The government is getting in on it. In 2023, the Fed launched something called FEDNOW, an infrastructure for moving money instantly through a centralized system. And yeah, okay, Congress has pushed back on it, but I think that's all for show. It'll be up for a vote again in 2030, and I don't see a world in which they spent the time and resources building this thing unless they plan on using it. What I want you to notice is that the shift isn't about going digital. We're already there. The real shift is about who controls it. The Federal Reserve is actively researching its own digital currency. A CBDC is basically a digital version of the US dollar, issued directly by the central bank, not by Circle, PayPal, or Cash App, but by the government itself. So think about what we just talked about. Stablecoins equal fast digital dollars. Private companies issue them. They can be tracked, frozen, and completely controlled. Now, imagine that same system, but centralized. If this is connecting dots for you, please hype the vid so the message can be pushed. It's an important conversation that isn't getting any traction. Now, the Federal Reserve claims that digital dollars means faster payments, greater financial inclusion, and more efficient systems. Sure, but it would also mean every transaction can be recorded, money can be programmed, and access can be denied. So we either have a system where massive trades with huge payoffs can happen before announcements and no one knows who made them, or we have a system where everyday transactions and who made them are fully visible. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, that's all right, because banks already track what we do and they can already freeze funds. And besides, we still have cash, so who cares? That's fair, but let's break it down. Right now, your money sits across banks, apps, and different payment networks, so control is spread out. If one system blocks you, you can use another bank or a different app. Options exist. In a fully centralized system, those options are gone. Right now, banks see your transactions, but if the government wants to see them, they need warrants and subpoenas. In a fully centralized system, they don't. And cash? That's the easiest thing to phase out. We've already stopped printing pennies, so cash transactions now are being rounded up or down. It's a small change, but when you round millions of times a day, those pennies really start to add up. Where does the money go? When financial systems get stressed, they adapt. And the easiest way to do that today is with a centralized digital system. This won't come with a big announcement and you won't be forced into it, not at first. It'll be sold to you as convenience. Digital wallets backed by the government, emergency funds distributed immediately, all in one platforms for your entire financial life. And marketing a cashless economy is super easy with buzzwords like seamless payments, faster access, and more secure systems. There'll be perks like discounts, faster processing, and exclusive access. So at first, it won't be you have to, but why wouldn't you? They'll claim that they're protecting consumers. And sure, maybe that'll be true. But what will also be true is that you're giving up control over your own money. It won't feel dramatic. It'll feel reasonable, safer, easier, and smarter until one day you realize that the system didn't just evolve. It's in charge. If that doesn't work fast enough, they'll just give you change in digital currency. You insist on paying with a $20 bill? Sure, no problem. Your $3 and change will get transferred directly to your government-issued digital currency card. And if this goes on long enough, cash won't only be irrelevant, it'll disappear. Imagine owing federal student loans or back taxes. The IRS and the Department of Education, both federal agencies, can access your digital wallet and clean it out until your balance is paid off. You won't get to choose how or when to repay your debt while paying your other bills and also, surviving. They'll do it for you. Now, I know that some of you guys might be thinking that this is prophecy. Sure, maybe. But it's a lot more likely that these lunatics are getting their ideas from prophecy instead of the other way around. It's like Macbeth. He got his idea to kill Duncan from the prophecy that he would be king. That's what started the whole tragedy in motion. Had he never heard the prophecy, he would have been happy as the Thane of Glamis and Cawdor. But after he heard it, he wanted more. And this is the same thing. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Look, I don't want to scare you guys. I just want to keep you guys aware. Because right now, awareness is the first step. Pay attention to the direction, not just the headlines and Trump's insane tweets. Don't confuse convenience with control. Don't rely on a single system and have more than one way to access your money. Understand the tools that you're using now and who controls them, what can trigger restrictions, and what access actually looks like. Stay out of reaction mode because systems change fastest when people are emotionally overwhelmed. If you're calm, you're a lot more likely to see your options and less likely to be caught off guard. So what do you guys think? Hit like if you've seen the shift. If this all sounds like conspiracy theory, leave a comment below. I read them. And either way, I think this is a conversation that we need to have. If you made it this far, you already know what to do. See you on the next vid.